You know, our digital devices are absolutely incredible, right? They connect us to work, to our friends, to this whole universe of information. But if we're being honest, how often do they leave us feeling totally drained, scattered, and like our attention isn't even our own anymore? So in this explainer, we're going to dive into how we can start taking it back. So let me just ask you this straight up. Are you in control of your tech, or is it in control of you? It's a really simple question, but man, the answer can tell you a lot. Our goal here is to help you tip that balance right back in your favor. Okay, first things first, we need to get a handle on what we're actually aiming for. So, what on earth is digital well-being? And I'll give you a hint. It is not about throwing your phone in a river. It's about something much, much more intentional. At its heart, digital well-being is all about the conscious and balanced use of technology to actually improve your life. And the key words there really are conscious and balanced. It's about making these powerful tools work for your health, your physical, mental, and emotional health, instead of against it. This really gets to the core conflict in our digital lives. See, most apps are built for what you might call digital hedonism. You know, that quick little dopamine hit, the instant gratification of a like or a new notification. But what we as people actually crave, what we're looking for, is eudaimonia, that deeper sense of long-term fulfillment, of living a life with purpose. And a lot of the time, those two things are in a constant battle. So why is this so hard? Well, and this is really important, it's not a personal failure. It's not because you lack willpower. We're up against a system that has been meticulously, brilliantly designed to capture and hold on to our focus. And that system has a name, the attention economy. Think about it. It's a system where your attention is literally the product being bought and sold. This totally changes our relationship with information, right? It turns our focus, a core part of who we are, into a commodity. And all these platforms are locked in this endless zero-sum race for that one scarce resource. And believe me, they have gotten incredibly good at winning it. So how do they do it? This stuff is not an accident. Features like the infinite scroll, they're designed to eliminate any natural stopping points so you just keep going and going. And then you've got variable rewards, things like unpredictable notifications. That triggers the exact same dopamine pathway in your brain as a slot machine, which reinforces that compulsive need to just keep checking. It's an entire system of persuasive design, and it is engineered to get you hooked. You know, the Nobel laureate Herbert Simon saw this coming decades ago. He said, "A wealth of information creates a poverty of attention." That is the fundamental trade-off of our modern world, and we are all living right in the middle of it. And that poverty of attention he talked about, it's not just some abstract concept. It has a very real, very measurable cost to our health and our ability to just think. I mean, just look at this data from a recent CDC report. It is staggering. Teens with high screen time, we're talking 4 or more hours a day outside of school, report symptoms of anxiety at more than double the rate of their peers. That's not a small difference. That is huge. And it doesn't stop with anxiety. You see the exact same pattern with sleep. Almost half of the teens with high screen time report having irregular sleep routines. Compare that to less than 30% for the lower use group. We are literally sacrificing our sleep for clicks and scrolls. And beyond our mental health, there's the cognitive cost. Get this. Research from the University of California, Irvine found it takes, on average, over 20 minutes to get back into a state of deep concentration after just one single digital interruption. Now think about your own day. How many times are you interrupted in an hour? The cost to our productivity, to deep thinking, it's absolutely massive. So what's the antidote to all this? This is where a really powerful philosophy comes into play. It's called digital minimalism, and it is all about being intentional. Okay, so a core strategy here is to just completely reset your relationship with your tech. The author Cal Newport calls it a digital declutter. You take a 30-day break from all the non-essential stuff. And look, it's not a punishment. The whole point is to create enough space to rediscover the things you actually value. Then, at the end, you slowly, deliberately reintroduce tools, but only if they pass one simple test. Does this thing genuinely make my life better? All right, I know what you're thinking. A 30-day break? That sounds kind of intense. But the good news is you don't have to start there. You can start building a toolkit of smaller, practical strategies right now to start taking back control. Your phone, believe it or not, already has tools built in to help you. Focus mode is a perfect example. With just one tap, you can pause the apps that you know are your biggest time wasters. It creates this clear, intentional boundary between your work time and your distraction time, and it puts you right back in the driver's seat. And sometimes a really simple change can have a surprisingly powerful effect. Bedtime mode doesn't just silence your notifications, it turns your whole screen to grayscale. Just removing all those bright, stimulating colors makes your phone feel less like this exciting entertainment portal and more like, well, like a simple tool. And that's exactly the signal you want to send your brain before you go to sleep. You can also redesign your environment and your habits. Create tech-free zones, right? Make the dinner table and the bedroom sacred, screen-free spaces. You can fight that feeling of being overwhelmed with the one screen rule. No more writing an email while half watching a video. When you're working, try the 80-20 rule. 80% focused work, 20% intentional breaks. And my personal favorite, the evening device dock. Charging all your devices in one central spot outside the bedroom is maybe the single most effective habit for protecting your sleep and your focus the next morning. Now, this isn't just a battle we're fighting on our own. That constant pressure to be always on is a huge systemic problem, and more countries are starting to tackle it with actual policy. And this table shows a really significant global shift. You've got countries like Spain, Australia, France. They've all enacted what are called right to disconnect laws. These are not just friendly suggestions. They are actual legal frameworks that protect employees from being forced to respond to work messages after hours. It's a formal recognition that we need downtime to function, to be creative, and just to be human. Ultimately, this whole thing isn't about whether technology is good or bad. It's about our relationship with it. It's about shifting from this reactive, distracted state to one that is conscious, balanced, and intentional. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. What is one small change you can make, starting today, to use your technology just a little more intentionally?